Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Today we are diving right into something that's absolutely crucial, but often feels a bit overwhelming: getting registered to vote online in Indiana. We're going to break the whole thing down step by step so you can easily and quickly make your voice heard. All right, let's dive into this.
Now, before we get into the how, let's talk about the why. Take a look at this number, 6,017. According to federal reports, that's the estimated number of folks who experienced homelessness in Indiana in 2023. And that is actually a 10% jump from the year before. It's a pretty sobering statistic, right? It really hits home that when we talk about elections, we're not just throwing around abstract political ideas. We're talking about real policies that literally dictate housing, sports services, and the lives of the most vulnerable people in our communities.
And you know, this perfectly captures why advocates are pushing so incredibly hard to get people registered. Chelsea Herring-Codsey from the Coalition for Homelessness Intervention and Prevention hit the nail on the head. She points out how speaking out at the ballot box is this massive way to shape policy. Look, when you're in survival mode, just trying to figure out your next meal, civic engagement isn't exactly top of mind. But the reality is, every single vote directly impacts those community resources. Your vote actually has real, tangible power.
So we get it. Life is chaotic. Whether you're just surviving or just navigating an incredibly busy schedule, finding time to register can feel like a chore. But this is exactly why Indiana created the online voter registration solution back in 2010. It's this super empowering, paperless system designed to make getting on the voter rolls as quick and painless as possible. No messy paperwork, way fewer errors, just a streamlined process.
Okay, let's jump into Section 1. Are you eligible?
Before you even type that URL into your browser, there are a few basic legal boxes you gotta check. First off, you must be a U.S. citizen and an Indiana resident. Makes sense, right? You also need to be at least 18 years old by the time the next general or municipal election rolls around. You've got to have lived in your specific precinct continuously for at least 30 days before that election. And finally, you cannot currently be imprisoned after a criminal conviction. But here's an incredibly important detail about that last point. In Indiana, if you're in pretrial detention, on probation, on parole, or doing a work release program, you actually still have the right to vote. The restriction only applies if you're actively serving time behind bars following a conviction.
Moving right along to Section 2, what you will need. So the online portal is fast, but it does have some strict security hoops to jump through to prove you are who you say you are. To use the online system, you absolutely must have a valid current Indiana driver's license or a state ID issued by the Bureau of Motor Vehicles. It is non-negotiable for the digital route. But hey, if you don't have one, don't sweat it. You can totally use alternative methods, like putting the last 4 digits of your social security number on a physical paper form or claiming neither if applicable and mailing it in. For today, though, we're sticking purely to the online process.
Which brings us to Section 3, Step-by-Step Online Guide.
All right, got your ID ready? Great. Just open your browser and head to indianavoters.in.gov. It's basically a 5-step breeze. Step 1, you just agree to the terms of use. Easy. Step 2, you'll confirm those eligibility requirements we just talked about and punch in your ID number. Step 3 is all about you, your name, birthday, and your addresses. Step 4, you review everything to make sure there are no typos, and you authorize the BMV. And Step 5, you hit submit and get a confirmation code. Oh, and definitely save that code for your records.
Now, I do want to point out a tiny little friction point you'll run into at Step 2. You're going to hit a CAPTCHA. You know the drill. It's those squiggly letters you have to type out or an audio clip you have to listen to. It proves you're a real human and not some spammy computer program trying to crash the state's database. It literally takes 2 seconds, but it's super important for keeping elections secure.
And here is a really slick feature that pops up in Step 4. You might be thinking, wait, how do I sign a digital form? Well, the cool thing is, state law doesn't make you print anything out or try to draw a messy signature with your mouse. You just agree to a declaration that authorizes the Bureau of Motor Vehicles to securely attach the digital signature they already have on file from your ID directly to your voter file. It's completely secure and honestly a massive time saver.
All right, up next, Section 4, Status Checks and Troubleshooting.
So you clicked Submit. Awesome. Now what? Well, you can hop back onto indianavoters.in.gov and click Check Your Registration Record to verify it worked. But let's be real, technology isn't perfect. What if you punch in your info and boom, the portal hits you with a glaring red error message? First rule, do not panic. This happens all the time, and it's almost always a super simple data mismatch.
Here is exactly how you handle it. If the portal spits back an error, check your spelling first. Your first name, last name, and date of birth have to match your BMV records exactly. If you recently got married and changed your name, or maybe you moved to a new address, the system might be flagging outdated info. The good news? You can use this very same portal to update those details. Now, if everything is spelled perfectly and it still says no record found, that just means you aren't in the system yet, and you need to start a fresh application.
Let's bring it home with Section 5, Deadlines and Final Tips.
Okay, we've got the mechanics down, but timing is literally everything here. Because in Indiana, if you miss the deadline, you miss your chance to vote entirely. There's no oops allowed. I want you to lock this number in your mind. 29. Indiana has a strict 29-day registration cutoff before any election. There's no same-day registration at the polls in this state. Once that 29-day mark hits, the books are closed. If you apply late, your application just sits there until after Election Day is completely wrapped up.
To put this into perspective, let's map it out for the upcoming 2026 election cycle. Planning to vote in the primary? Your registration has to be completed by April 6, 2026. Gearing up for the big general election on November 3rd? Your online registration absolutely has to be done by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time on October 5th, 2026. And just as a heads up, if you do go the paper route, it has to be postmarked by that exact same October 5th date.
Now for a quick, boring but necessary disclaimer, everything we just went over is based on Indiana state law as of August 26, 2026. Election rules can and sometimes do shift. So the smartest move is to always double-check your personal status, your polling place, and any upcoming deadlines right at the official source, indianavoters.in.gov.
So, we've covered the why, the who, and the exact step-by-step how. Like those advocates for the vulnerable remind us, real policies are shaped by the people who actually show up at the ballot box. This online portal makes getting on the list faster and easier than ever before. So I'll leave you with this. Are you ready to take just 5 minutes today to ensure your voice gets to shape your community's future tomorrow? Don't wait around for the deadline to sneak up on you. Go check your status right now. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy voting!